Yo, what's going on, YouTube? It's Taco Dre from DFJ Hoops. Like, share, subscribe. We're going to talk about the Sixers versus the New York Knicks in the first round of the NBA playoffs. And I'm glad the playoffs just started because we get to see great basketball. Now, the Sixers played, they took on the New York Knicks. The Cleveland Cavaliers took on the Orlando Magic. Phoenix took on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I think the Lakers played the Denver Nuggets as well. Now, every team that played at home won their matchups, which was it's cool because no team, no road team was able to steal home court advantage. So shout out to every home team that got a victory. Shout out to the Knicks. Shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, before we get into the Knicks versus the 76ers, I just want to give a few shout outs to, let me give a shout out to my guy, play by play with JJ. I'd like to give a shout out to running back Philly, DJ Eastwood. Shout out to him. Shout out to RB, Philly Take with RB. Shout out to Sean Bernard, Mike Sports Vibe. Shout out to Mitch Kofsky. Shout out to every Sixers content creator out here. And yeah, but let's get into this. Let's get into this playoff game. The 76ers versus the New York Knicks in the first round. Let me take a look at these comments right here. So shout out to my guy Nice. He says Knicks in 4, chop cheese with yeah, shout out to my guy Nice. He's a Knicks fan. He's a realistic Knicks fan. And I like his takes as well. Shout out to my guy play by play with JJ. He says it's over. The Sixers are getting swept. It's the end of the world. Bro, we're gonna talk about all of it. And whether the Sixers will get swept or not, I mean, it's yet to be seen. But I don't like jumping to conclusions after just one game. So we're definitely gonna talk about it. He says, bro, these these people are wild saying, bro, you have to come again because I don't understand what you said right there. Yeah. Yeah. I saw the quote. Yeah, I saw it, but yeah, I mean, we know, but like my guy, nice. He's not. He's very, very realistic. I mean, even though he's saying it's a sweep, I definitely think he has his reasons why he's saying that. But yeah, let's just get into this game right here. So, um, yesterday I was supposed to do a preview for this playoff series right here, but something unexpectedly happened, and I wasn't able to come on live and do this show, previewing the Knicks versus the 76ers and talking about what we should expect, how the Sixers should react to certain things that the Knicks are going to do, and how they should play them in certain stretches and spurts. But I wasn't able to, and I did get my family. I mean, in case y'all didn't know, my family are Knicks fans, and I'm the only 76er fan because I was born in Philly. So I just, I'm just riding with the home team. But my family is from, originally from New York, from Queens, New York. So they're Knicks fans. But I'm a 76er fan, and they're telling me that I'm scared, I'm this, I'm that. I don't believe in the Sixers. And I'm like, yo, if something happened, that's why I wasn't able to. But I mean, we're back. We're definitely back. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this game right here. So the second seeded New York Knicks, they take on the 76ers as the seventh seed. Now, it's been a while since we played this Knicks team. I think the last time we played them was in 1989, and the Sixers got swept. The Sixer team featuring Charles Barkley, Hersey Hawkins. I think Mo Cheeks was in his last season, and the Knicks had Patrick Ewing, who was he was a puppy by then. They had Charles Oakley and a few guys that my dad told me that yeah, after that playoff series ended, Charles Oakley and a few other Knicks players they brought out brooms and they started sweeping around the spectrum because they swept the Sixers. But let's not waste any time. Let's get into this game right here. So the 76ers came out, and before this playoffs even started, the one thing that everybody or every Sixer team, Nick Nurse and all the players should have known was that the Knicks are the best offensive rebounding team. They like to go after offensive rebounds. And that's something that really killed the 76ers in this game right here because the Knicks had, I think, 20 more rebounds than the Sixers did. And they absolutely demolished the Sixers on the glass. There's no, I can't even make any excuses to that. They destroyed the Sixers on the glass. Josh Hart was getting offensive rebounds. Everybody was getting. Even Jalen Brunson got 5 offensive rebounds. Mitchell Robinson came off the bench. He did his thing, getting, providing some, getting on the glass, hustling, hustle plays. The Knicks they hustle a lot. They dive for loose balls. They go after offensive rebounds. They do the necessary things to help the team win. And me person, me personally, I think um, when you have a team that's really ready to go in the mud and do everything, get everything out the mud, and get these offensive rebounds, you're definitely going to be at a disadvantage because they're always hustling. They're always giving effort. They're always playing hard in a sense. I mean, they have dogs, as they say. But um, the Sixers came out in the first quarter, and I mean, Embiid, Joel looked. I mean, he looked perfect. He looked perfectly fine to me, in my opinion. I mean, he was making shots. I think in the first, he scored the first 8 points for the Sixers, and the Sixers, they took a huge lead in that first quarter. Now, Tobias did make some shots. Kelly Oubre made some shots. Tyrese Maxey also made some shots, but Embiid was unstoppable in the first quarter. I think he dropped 15 points, and he was getting to the free throw line. He was hitting those mid range jumpers of his that he likes to shoot, and he looked perfectly fine to me. He wasn't showing any signs of injuries, and he was locked in. I mean, he took out the braids. He came out with the fro, so that shows you that he was really locked in, and no extra curricular activities in that first quarter. Now, for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, I think the Sixers did a solid job on Jalen Brunson, in my opinion. I think we need to give a huge shout out to Kelly Oubre for his defensive efforts on Jalen Brunson, and holding Jalen Brunson to a high and efficient night. That's super super huge for the Sixers. But um, the Knicks did get their role players to step up, and those role players stepped up and ultimately won the game for the Knicks. Now, Jalen Brunson was 8 for 26 from the field. That's super inefficient. And for his standards, I don't think Jalen Brunson is going to have that night again in the series. But like I said, the role players did step up. They stepped up. They made shots. They made the defensive plays. They got on the offensive glass. They got a lot of second chance opportunities and they capitalized on it. But I mean, even though the Sixers got demolished on the rebounding, they only lost by 7. And there's a lot of factors that goes into it. The rebounds goes into it. I mean, if you held them, if you don't give them all those second chance opportunities, you probably win this game. And the Knicks had production off their bench, and the Sixers only had 7 points off their bench. So the bench didn't really produce for the Sixers, but the Knicks, I think every player outscored the every bench player that came off the bench for the Knicks. They outscored the Sixers combined. I think Bogdanovich came off the bench. He gave them 13 points. Mitchell Robinson gave them 8 points off the bench, and Miles McBride. And shout out to Miles McBride. I think he's very tough. And my guy Nice, who's a Knicks fan, was telling me about Miles McBride. And he came off the bench, and he was hitting threes for them. Making some winning plays. I think in the first half he had like 4 threes already or something like that. And I like how he plays. And the first time we played the Knicks in the first game of the season, he came off the bench and he was hitting threes for them. And, he was shooting them with confidence. And you could tell he was so confident, shooting the ball, not worrying about it. And, once he shoots the ball, he gets back on defense and, he hustles. He's only 6'1", but he plays with so much heart and so much effort. And that's all you could ask for from your bench players. But I mean, they had 42 combined points off the bench. I'm talking about the Knicks, and the Sixers only had 7. That's so terrible. Nico only gave you 3 points, and Paul Reed gave you 4. Now, we all know Nico did score 20 points against the Miami Heat in that playing game, but like I said, if we're really gonna depend or rely on Nico Batum to give you 20 points every single time off the bench, then it's not gonna look too good because Nico's not always gonna have those open looks. He's not always gonna be hot offensively. He's not always gonna have it going. So we need other guys to step up. We need Buddy Hield to step up. We need Paul Reed. Now Paul Reed came off the bench. I mean, he had limited minutes, which I don't even blame him that much because uh only in 11 minutes he gave you 4 points and 5 rebounds. That's not his fault. I mean, he did clean glass. He did get on the offensive rebounds. He got some rebounds over Mitchell Robinson, and he scored on those rebounds. So he did give the Sixers some second chance opportunities. But like I said, coming into the playoffs, Buddy Hield was one of my concerns because he's never been in the playoffs before. This is the first time he's in the playoffs. So it was like, how do you judge him? Because we've never seen him in the postseason. So is he going to perform? Is he going to step up? Is he going to play to the same standards as he does in the regular season? Is he going to get the minutes that is necessary for him to produce? These are all questions that I had coming into this postseason. And after the first game, even though it's only one game, I can't really fully judge him off this one game right here because that's going to be a little bit unfair. He only played 10 minutes. I mean, let me say 11 minutes. He played 10:58, and he attempted some shots, but nothing dropped for him, nothing fell for him. He had one assist, and I think that was it. But the Sixers need more bench production, in my opinion. And if you don't get bench production, it's not going to look too good, especially if the Knicks are getting 42 points off their bench. I mean, Bogdanovich with his 13, Mitchell Robinson with his 8, and Miles McBride with his 21. If you don't have anybody on your bench that can counter that or that can match that same production, the Sixers are not going to go far in this playoff series, in my opinion. And this is my first time I'm gonna call out Nick Nurse. And the only reason why I'm calling out Nick Nurse is because I don't think that he had this team as prepared for the rebounding department. I think they were much prepared in other areas. I mean, um, defensively, I mean, guarding Jalen Brunson. I mean, they did a fantastic job. Jalen Brunson only finished this game with 22 points, and he took 26 shots. And like I said, I mean, Jalen Brunson, he's gonna get his points. But if you're gonna get your points, I mean, defensively, I'm gonna make sure you work for it. I'm gonna make it very, very difficult for you. I'm gonna make sure those 20 plus points is gonna be a high volume, inefficient 20. And the Sixers did that, but the rebounding is where everything everything went it went left for the Sixers because the Knicks are a very, very good rebounding team. And if you don't know Tom Thibodeau, his coaching philosophy, he sends 2 or 3 guys to the offensive glass. So they go after offensive rebounds than they do getting back in transition. So the Sixers had to get on the rebounds by any means necessary. They were supposed to get on the glass, rebound the basketball at a very, very high level, and not give the Knicks so many second chance opportunities because giving them second chance opportunities is what me personally, I think that's what ultimately led the Sixers to lose in this game right here. Because if you don't give up as many second chance opportunities, you probably win this game right here. And in the second quarter, the Sixers didn't really produce. But in the first quarter, the Sixers did win that first quarter. And like I said, Embiid was just unstoppable. He finished with 15. Got to the free throw line a couple of times. He was making shots. He was making threes. He was hitting mid-range jump shots, and they couldn't do anything with him. And he did put OG. He did put OG in foul trouble, and and yeah, he was giving us a spark offensively and defensively. He rebounded the basketball fairly good, in my opinion. But as a team, they should have did a better job getting on the offense. I mean, getting on the defensive rebounds. But I mean, in a way, you could say that the strengths of the Knicks also helped them because their strengths is offensive rebounds, and the Sixers their weaknesses is the defensive rebounds. But if Nick Nurse, I feel if Nick Nurse had this team more prepared, they probably would have gotten on the glass more than they did, and they probably steal game one on the road. But let me take a look at these comments right here, and yeah, 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 JJ. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. He says I do have to run and get ready for the Phillies game, but I'll talk to you later today about tomorrow. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna definitely hit you up. Shout out to my guy BJ from the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. I appreciate you for stopping by, BJ. He says soft as fuck. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean, the Knicks, like I said, the Knicks are the best offensive rebounding team. So going up against them, we definitely should have did a better job. But soft, I'm not gonna call them soft. That I think that's a wrong choice of words. But I appreciate you for stopping by, BJ. Yeah, and good luck to the Clippers against the Dallas Mavs. Like I said, I got the Clippers in 5. I mean, I got the Clippers in 6. But I think Luka is definitely gonna do Luka things. He's definitely averaging 30 in this series. I see. Shout out to my guy Tunin Sports. Yeah, the Cavs did win against the Orlando Magic. My guy, my youngin, Paulo Banchero didn't really. He had 9 turnovers in that game. He was a little bit careless, but I expect him to be better. I expect him to be better. But the Cavs should win this series in 5. In at least 5 games. If it goes more than 5, bro, I don't know what to tell you, bro. But shout out to you. I appreciate you for stopping by. But um, in the second quarter, the Sixers came out, and I mean, Embiid started off on the bench because he played the entire first. So Paul Reed stepped in for him with Maxi, Tobias Harris, Kelly Oubre was in there. I think Nico was in there too. But um, I just think that Tyrese Maxey didn't step up in the second quarter as he did usually in the regular season, because if we remember in the regular season games that Embiid played in, Embiid goes off in the first quarter, and then Maxi takes up, or he steps up in the second quarter because Embiid starts off on the bench. So I don't think Maxi was really that great for us offensively, and he was 2 for 11. He was 2 for 11 in that second quarter alone. And Tobias Harris was not being as aggressive as we needed him to be because Embiid was on the bench, so we needed production from him. We needed production from Maxi, and Paul Reed came off the bench. He did what he could do. He did what was necessary for him to do. He gave you those 4. I think all his 4 points came in that second quarter, and he gave you those 5. Excuse me, he gave you those 5 rebounds, and those rebounds were huge, especially those offensive rebounds. He did clean glass. Tobias missed a couple shots. Tobias was, I mean, the entirety of the game, Tobias was terrible. I mean, shooting air balls, um, missing defensive assignments. He wasn't really that good. I mean, he played 30 minutes, but those 30 minutes, he didn't really give you anything going offensively. Now, he did give you 9 rebounds, but offensively, we really needed that offensive spark plug in that second quarter, and we didn't find it from Maxi. We didn't find it from nobody, and the Sixers ended up scoring 12 points in that entirety of that second quarter. But Embiid checks into the game. He does this, self alley oop on Mitchell Robinson, and he gets the alley oop, and he slams it home. That was great execution, but he lands on his left knee. On that, he puts all his weight on that left leg of his, and he goes down. And as soon as he went down, you kind of like had the feeling of everybody looking at each other, like asking themselves, like, "Where's the offense going to come from?" And I think they all panicked in that moment. And I just think that Embiid should have been smarter than that. I mean, you're in the playoffs. You're already not at 100%. Everything should be smart, in my opinion. You don't have to be doing all these extra stuff because you're not at 100%. If he had kept it like very simple, I don't think he goes down. And if he doesn't go down, I don't think the Sixers lose this game, in my opinion. But Embiid should be smarter. And especially when you're injured like that, you don't have to be putting all that weight on that injured leg of yours, because that's not gonna look too good. But Embiid goes down, and the Knicks fans for a second they were cheering, but as soon as they noticed that it was much serious than they expected it to be, they stopped cheering. And they didn't cheer as the Raptors fans were cheering after Kevin Durant went down in that finals in 2019. But the Knicks fans, I mean, it's the Garden. They're gonna cheer for their team. They definitely want to give their team the advantage for home court, and they did what was necessary. They did what was necessary They did what was necessary as a fan base. They gave the team all the confidence in the world. When they made threes, you could hear it. When they made hustle plays, you could hear the crowd just getting into it, and that's what you expect from a crowd. Just give your team the confidence and make them feel at home. And they will definitely give you the effort, and they're definitely going to make winning plays and all the necessary plays to win a basketball game. So the Knicks ended up, they blew the Sixers out in that second quarter. It was not even close. In the second quarter, let me see. The Sixers finished that second quarter with 12, and New York finished with 33. So they outscored the Sixers by almost 21 points in that second quarter. And they were making shots, even though Brunson was struggling. He did get some production from Miles McBride. Other guys gave him production as well. Josh Hart gave them production. OG shot to OG Ananobi. He stepped up huge for them. Mitchell Robinson came off the bench. He did what he did. He gave them a double double off the bench. I mean, he played 30 minutes, so it's not really that surprising. Playing 30 plus minutes, and I mean, nah, he didn't finish with a double though. He only had 8 points, but my point is he gave you those 12 rebounds throughout the game, and that was very very huge for the Knicks. If he don't get those 12 rebounds, they probably he did get some offensive rebounds as well, and those offensive rebounds especially helped them to get those second chance opportunities that they needed to get. But heading into the third, Embiid comes back. He comes back in the third, but you could tell that he wasn't really himself in the third. I mean, he wasn't getting that lift from that leg of his, and he was really struggling offensively. And Mitchell Robinson did a great job. He did a solid job on him defensively. Him, Isaiah Hartenstein, and OG, they had him in check in that third quarter. But I mean, Kyle Lowry stepped up for the Sixers very huge, and the Sixers won the third. They definitely won the third, but I think it was from Kyle Lowry. I think Kyle Lowry stepping up is what helped the Sixers, step up or helped the Sixers, get so many production in the third quarter. I think he stepped up huge. He was making threes. He got to the free throw line a couple times, and then Maxey, followed, and Maxey was also making shots. And the Sixers, Embiid, hobbled a little bit, shaken up from that previous play in the second quarter. He wasn't himself in the third, but I think the Sixers did give a lot of effort in that third quarter, and the Sixers they definitely had a chance in that game right there. And heading into the fourth, the Knicks, the Knicks ultimately won this game. We know they ultimately won this game, but it's the final plays that they made down the stretch which helped them win the game. I mean, the Sixers dared Josh Hart to make shots. I mean, he was missing in that first quarter. He was missing threes in the first quarter, but down the stretch, he did make some two huge threes. OG made a huge three, and OG was being left wide open because Tobias Harris was not. Tobias was he was gambling in the sense, he was helping and recovering. He was helping, but not recovering back to his man, and leaving guys wide open for threes. And I can see a lot of Sixer fans. I can see why they want Tobias, not playing so many minutes in the fourth, just like the game in the playing, because in the playing he was benched down the stretch, and Nick Nurse just went with the hot hand. But in this game right here, there's nobody that was hot off the bench, so it's just kind of hard for him to not play Tobias Harris or play somebody who's cold. He would definitely go with whoever the starter is, and that's why he went with Tobias Harris and gave Tobias Harris that many minutes. I mean, Tobias played 31 minutes in that entirety of the game, but me personally, I don't see who you would have replace Tobias Harris in this game in particular because nobody was hot off the bench. I mean, like I said, we had 7 total points off the bench in totality. So I don't see who you would have played instead of Tobias Harris. Now I'm seeing people saying that play Ricky Council, give Ricky Council minutes. Ricky Council is definitely going to rebound the basket at a very high clip. He's going to give you effort. He's going to hustle. He's going to play defense. He's going to make shots. He's going to generate a ton of rim pressure. And I get it, but it's just hard, pause if necessary, but it's just difficult for a coach of Nick Nurse's caliber to go with an undrafted rookie player who hasn't proven himself in a postseason setting. It's just difficult for him to go with Ricky Council because he hasn't seen Ricky Council prove himself. So it's just difficult for him to give an undrafted rookie player. It's just tough for him to give him minutes. Now, me personally, do I want to see Ricky Council out there? Absolutely, but in the fourth quarter down the stretch, it's just difficult for me seeing Nick Nurse playing. Ricky Council because he hasn't really proven himself. But I mean, a lot of people are calling for Ricky Council and this guy right here, KJ Martin. I mean, he didn't play, but if they were in the game, they'll definitely give you some, some effort. They'll definitely give you some hustle plays. They'll play defense. They'll get rebounds for you. But I mean, if the Sixers really want to win this series right here, they have to get on the glass. You can't get destroyed on the glass. You have to rebound the basketball. I mean, New York had 55 rebounds, and the Sixers only had 33. It's 33. Nobody was in double figures in rebounding, and that can't happen. That shouldn't happen. And Tobias has to be aggressive, especially on Josh Hart. Josh Hart is only 6'4", playing power forward. The Knicks are running a 3 guard lineup and are still out rebounding the Sixers by a wide margin. I mean, they had 22 more rebounds than the Sixers, and Josh Hart had more rebounds than anybody on the Sixers. He was in double figures, and nobody was in double figures in rebounding for the Sixers. I mean, Embiid only had 8 rebounds. That can't happen. Tobias only had 9 rebounds. That can't happen. Now, I don't know what Nick Nurse is going to do about this. I don't know if benching, sitting down Kyle Lowry or bringing Kyle off the bench and, playing a huge lineup. I'm hearing people saying that Paul Reed should be given, more minutes. He should be a starter. But the only problem is if you put Paul Reed in the starting lineup, that means you need to have a center coming off the bench. And I don't want to see Mo Bamba in this series. If it's not a blowout, I don't want to see Mo Bamba because Mo Bamba is not a very good rebounder himself. He's 7 foot for nothing. He has a 7'10" wingspan or something like that, but he doesn't rebound the basketball to the level that he's supposed to. And if you put him in the game, he's just gonna get bullied. And it's not even funny. He's gonna get bullied. They're gonna bully him. They're gonna push him to the floor, go through his chest. He's not gonna get you no rebounds. So I get the Embiid, Paul Reed lineup, but at the same time, it's just like who's gonna be the backup center? Who's gonna come off the bench? So I just expect Nick Nurse to be smart and have this team much prepared, especially in that rebounding department, because if we don't get on the glass, we have absolutely no chance in this game. Now, I'm not saying that we have to excuse me. I'm not saying we have to grab more rebounds than them every single time. I'm not saying that, but we have to limit the amount of offensive rebounds that they get. They had 23 offensive rebounds, and we only had 9. And those 23 offensive rebounds that they had, I think they had 26 second chance points or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And that can't happen. That cannot happen. We have to get on the glass. We have to focus. And when you get on the glass, guess what? We can attack them in transition because they sent all their guys to the glass. So if you get those rebounds and you push it in transition, you can score those easy points without them getting their defense set in the first place. So I think that's something that Nick Nurse has to emphasize on. We have to get on the rebounds and attack them in transition because if we don't, we don't have we don't have a chance to win the series. Tuna Sports says the Knicks are too deep. I mean, yeah, they are. They're deep, but they only played 8 guys last night. I mean, I was about to say Nick Nurse, but Tom Thibodeau, he shortened his rotation, and he's only playing 8 guys. And they had, I think everybody that came off the bench for them had 20 or more minutes, played 20 or more minutes. Bogdanovich played 24. Robinson played 30. Miles McBride played 28 minutes. So yeah, he's showing out his rotation, but they are deep. They are deep. I mean, Alec Burks can definitely cause some damage. Precious Achua could definitely cause some damage as well. And I mean, Shake Milton, who's a former 76er player, I mean, if you give him some minutes, he can definitely give you, some decent or solid production, in my opinion. So I mean, they're deep, but the Sixers, I still believe the Sixers can win this game. I mean, even though they gave up all those rebounds, the Sixers still had a chance. But down the stretch, the Knicks made those winning plays that the Sixers, it really hurt the Sixers. I mean, Josh Hart hitting those two clutch threes that really helped him a lot. And Josh Hart, he came to play. Um, the role players did step up, and we had Jalen Brunson in a straitjacket. But yeah, that's what you as a team. That's what you want. I mean, if your best player is struggling, you want your rotation players, you want your role players to step up. And Josh Hart stepped up huge for them. OG stepped up huge for them as well, and they ended up winning this game. And their bench, we don't have to forget about their bench. They had 42 points off the bench, and the Sixers only had 7. So 7 times 6, that's 42. So you see that makes a huge difference for them. I mean, even though Jalen Brunson struggled, other guys stepped up huge for them, and that was the difference for them. That made a huge difference for them. And do I expect Jalen Brunson to go 8 for 26 again? No, he'll definitely get a 30-point game in the series. So I think the Sixers have to do a better job, rebounding the basketball. And Jalen Brunson had 5 offensive rebounds. I mean, let's be fair. Most of those offensive rebounds, he shot the ball and it came directly to him because those shots were short. So as soon as he shot it, it hit the rim and just bounced right back to him like a rebound. So some rebounds, yeah, it did go in their favor, but for the most part, we have to do a better job. Box your man out, keep them off the glass, put a body on somebody. And if we do that, we can definitely attack them in transition. And when you attack them in transition, when their defense is not set, you can score those, easy points and not wait to, start your offense against a set defense every single time. And the Sixers are one of the fastest teams in the league. Maxi's fast, Buddy Hield is fast, Cameron Payne's fast, Tobias is somewhat fast. He's not all the way fast, but somewhat. Kelly Oubre he's also, yeah, a little bit faster. But if we attack them in transition, we can definitely score. And we don't have to go up against a shot blocking threat in Mitchell Robinson, and we can definitely capitalize on those opportunities. They have a starting big coming off the bench. Yeah, because I heard he was going to be on minutes restriction or something like that, but he played 30 minutes, so I don't know. I don't know if he's on minutes restriction. So yeah, yeah, but he'll probably start at some point in the series. I believe he'll probably start. Yeah, we'll be back. Let's go Philly. Yeah, I appreciate you, humble man. 420. Yeah, you a Sixer fan now, bro? If you're a Sixer fan, okay, you converted, converted. You converted from the 216 to the 215. Okay, I see you. But in order to be a Sixer fan, we got the Sixers history book that you gotta study. So you study about the legends, the Will Chamberlains, the Dolph Shays, the Chet Walkers, Billy Cunningham, Hal Gray, and all those guys, and we come pause if necessary. We come all the way down to Charles Barkley and then Allen Iverson and all those guys, and then to current day Embiid. But yeah, I appreciate you for stopping by. Tuna Sports says 2 starters coming off the bench. Who are the starters coming off the bench? Bogdanovich could start. I mean, he was starting for the Pistons, but I mean, I think he's better off coming off the bench. I mean, Mitchell Robinson, yeah, I agree with that. Or if you want to talk about Miles McBride, I mean, Miles McBride, he did make shots for them off the bench, gave you 21 points. That was huge for them, especially with Jalen Brunson. Excuse me, with Jalen Brunson struggling as he did. I mean, coming off the bench, giving them 21 huge points, and he made some huge threes. He made 5 threes in this game. So he shoots the ball. He shoots the ball at a very efficient clip. So the Sixers have to do a better job. Putting the body on him. Flying out to the 3-point line. Overcrowding his overcrowding his airspace, not forcing him to shoot those threes, not letting them get comfortable from the three. And I think if they do that, they'd probably be in a good situation. Dante DiVincenzo also struggled for them, but uh, I mean, me personally, I don't really have that much faith in Dante. I mean, he does hustle. He gives you effort, and sometimes he plays like a football player when he dive into somebody's knees. on the Pistons. I forgot who it was. I mean, he plays football. He's somewhat of a dirty player, but he gives you effort. Um, he plays with a lot of energy, and that's all you could ask for. Um, Humble Man says, "Don't worry, I got my questions on right." Yeah, but I mean, and overall, Tobias Harris, like I said, we need more production from him. The 9 rebounds, that's cute, but we need something offensively from you as well. And if you can get double-digit rebounds, we would appreciate that. So Harris has to be better. I mean, Maxi did lead all scorers. I think he finished with 33. He did finish with 33 points. He was the only, I think him and Kyle Lowry were the only guys on this team that were efficient from the field. I mean, Kyle Lowry gave you 18 points. So, he did his part, gave you 2 assists. So the ball movement right there wasn't what it should have been. But I mean, Embiid did give you 6 assists because he was playmaking a lot in that second half. And we all know when he went down with that injury, he wasn't being as aggressive, and even he wasn't getting he wasn't getting lift on his shots. And he chucked a lot. I mean, he chucked a couple and he missed. But they did a solid. I mean, we gotta give them credit. I mean, they did a solid job on him defensively, and that definitely it threw him off. In conjunction with the injury that he had, that it definitely threw him off, and that's why he struggled in that second half. But I mean, I don't know if he's gonna play. I mean, he's gonna be questionable regardless. But Embiid has to be. You got to be smart. That play, yeah, it's cool. It was great execution, but you ended up hurting yourself. So that's not cool. We need Embiid. If we don't have Embiid, the Sixers lose this series, probably in 4 or 5. But when he's out there, I mean, when he came out there in the first quarter, and he was aggressive from the start. They couldn't do anything with him, and the Sixers had the lead. And even in the fourth, they had the lead at some point, but ultimately they lost. They lost by 7 points. And like I said, if you got on the boards, you know, you probably win this game. If you ran those guys off the 3-point line, you probably win this game. And Kelly Oubre was solid defensively, but offensively, not as much, not as much. In my opinion, not as much. Embiid, has to be better. He gave you 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. But he has to be better and not, jeopardize his health this postseason, because we need him for the long run. If the Sixers are going to win a champion, I mean, if they can win a championship, or if they're going to win a championship, he has to be on the floor. If he's not on the floor, good night, Sixers. Maxi's also good, but Maxi's not leading you to a championship this early in his career. He's not doing that. He is not doing that at all. But like I said, Kyle Lowry and Maxi, they were the only efficient guys in this game. I mean, Embiid was not efficient. I mean, he was 8 for 22. But like I said, when he came in that third quarter, in that second half, he didn't really play offensively. He didn't really give you anything. He did get to the free throw line a couple times, but from the field, he wasn't that great. They did a solid job on him defensively as well. So if the Sixers want to win the series, number one, get on the glass. You have to rebound the basketball at a very, very high level. Tuna Sports says everybody live right now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who's live? I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know, but yeah. So if the Sixers want to win the series, number one, they have to rebound the basketball very well, and number two, we need to get solid production off the bench. The bench cannot get outplayed like that every single game, because if they do, it's not going to end well for the Sixers. 7 points off the bench. I mean, everybody on the Knicks had more points than the Sixers bench combined. Like I said, Mitchell Robinson with the 8 points. That's more than the Sixers' entire bench. The 13 points is more, and 21 is that's triple the production of our bench. So the Sixers have to do a better job. The bench players have to do a better job, production wise. But I mean, Buddy Hield's not given enough minutes, so you can't. Can you really blame him? He didn't really get into any rhythm offensively. But yeah, we have to do a better job. Nico is not going to give you 20 points every single time, so we need to find somebody who we can get production from. And I think Lowry stepped up huge in the starting lineup. He stepped up huge, but you give up all those offensive rebounds, and in the end, that really hurts you because the Knicks absolutely capitalize on those second chance opportunities, and they ended up winning this game right here. But I mean, if I'm a Knicks fan, yeah, you did win the game, but you won by 7 points, which a win is a win. Don't get me wrong, but with as many offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities that the Knicks had, they should have blew the Sixers out by almost at least 20 points. But that was not the case. Now I'm not making any excuses for the Sixers. Like I said, they have to get on the rebounds. They have to rebound the basketball. Humble says you'd be surprised my 2K play on. Oh yeah, Tone, Breezy, pull up, and you so far. Oh wow. I mean, it's different. It's different on fan bases though. I mean, Big Tone with the Miami Cheat, Breezy with the Brooklyn Nuts. Pause if necessary. BJ with the LA Strippers, and I'm with the Sixers. So but yeah, I hope the Celtics. I mean, the Celtics and the Miami Heat. That's going to be a great series. The Celtics should win, but I just expect or hope the Miami Heat can overwhelm them with their zone defense because they don't really have great decision makers on that team. I told you I'm high on Kyle Lowry. He's got a heart of a champion. He is a champion. I mean, he got that heart. Yeah, he definitely. I mean, from North Philly, he definitely got that. He plays his heart out every single time. He gives it his everything he has, and that's a Philly thing, man. That's a Philly thing. So yeah, shout out to Kyle Lowry. 17-4 Celtics. Dang. 17. Wait, how? Dang, the game started already. Wow. But I mean, Tuna Sports, it's a game of runs, so we don't know. I mean, let's see what happens. What happens later on? I mean, they should definitely respond. They gotta definitely respond. But Tuna Sports, I don't know if you're gonna recap the Orlando Magic Cleveland Cavaliers game. I don't know if you're gonna recap it, but if you are, just let me know so I can show up and give my thoughts. Y'all did a solid job. Y'all did a solid job. Humble Man says Joel dropping 60 next game. I mean, that'd be great. I mean, 60 points in the Garden too. I mean, that would be the most playoff points in the Garden. Has anybody scored more than 60 in the Garden in the playoffs? I don't think so. I know Kobe got the record for 61, but that's the regular season. But in the playoffs, I don't. I mean, jo- did Jordan drop 60? I mean, 55 on a double nickel game? That was probably the regular season. But yeah, that'd be huge. That'd be huge. He's a champion because of Kawhi. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get on Kawhi right now, bro. If I get on Kawhi, yeah, it's not gonna look good for him. Let's not get too excited, soon. He put in his dues in Toronto. He sure did. He sure did. He did. Yeah, losing to us. Thank you. I mean, bro. I mean, y'all had LeBron. What you expect? LeBron's the greatest player of his generation. So what you expect, bro? And DeMar DeRozan said, "quote If we had LeBron, we would have won too." So that right there, if your best player is saying something like that, you're not gonna win. But I expect the Sixers to bounce back in Game 2, and like I said, they have to. Nick Nurse has to get this team better prepared as far as rebounding the basketball. You can't get out rebounded by 22 and expect to win a basketball game. That shouldn't happen. You give them multiple second chance opportunities, and they capitalize on it. And that's why you lost. So the Sixers have to do a better job. Tobias has to step up. Kelly Oubre's defensive efforts was fantastic. And like I said, if Jalen Brunson is gonna score 20, make sure it's a high, make sure it's a high volume, inefficient 20. And we did exactly it. 8 for 26. That is terrible. But like I said, do I think he's gonna go 8 for 26 again? I don't think so. He's definitely gonna be better. But the Sixers should definitely have him in check. The defense was great, but have the other guys in check as well. Don't give up too many open threes as well, because these guys will definitely make you pay for it if you leave them open. And Josh Hart made the Sixers pay for it down the stretch. I always thought LeBron should have paired up in Philly when y'all had Joel and Ben Simmons together. Nah, it's not gonna be a great fit because, and I mean, Ben Simmons and LeBron on the same team, they both need the ball. Ben Simmons doesn't shoot the basketball, so having one of them should have been the plan. And I mean, if you bring in LeBron and you trade Ben Simmons, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So yeah. He says I might do a recap tomorrow. I'm gonna let you know for sure. Trying to catch these playoff games. Oh yeah, yeah, I feel you. Do the Cavs play tomorrow? I don't know, or they play on Tuesday. I don't know, but yeah, if you do a recap, just let me know so I can show up and give my thoughts. Yeah, but yeah, hopefully the Sixers bounce back in Game 2. Hopefully Embiid is ready to go, and that knee is not anything serious. Just need to rest it up. If you gotta ice it, ice it. If you gotta get some cortisol shots, go get them. But hopefully he's ready to go. And not being healthy is just it's just this guy always we always have this problem every single time. Nah, they should have kept Jimmy and y'all would have been good. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. We should have kept Jimmy. And that was the time the Sixers should have traded Ben Simmons. You have Jimmy and Joel. You trade Simmons and you get the necessary pieces that you can get, and then you contend again. But I mean, that didn't happen. Um, they chose to trade Jimmy. Um, that was bad. That was bad. That was a bad front office decision. But I mean, that's the Sixers. But yeah, the Sixers. I think the Sixers are going to bounce back. Do I think they're going to win? They have a big chance. They have a big shot to winning in Game 2, and I believe if they take care of the rebound and those defensive rebounds, if they get on the glass and take care of those defensive rebounds, and we can get much better production from the bench than we got last night, the Sixers should definitely win. They should definitely win in Game 2 and split this series by one. And come back home and try to get and try to protect home court as much as possible. So yeah, I see the Sixers winning Game 2, and shout out to Maxey with those backside blocks on Jalen Brunson. We made it very very difficult for Jalen Brunson. But yeah, his role player stepped up, and that's all they could ask for. Jimmy was amazing for you. I forgot he was in Philly. Yeah, yeah, he was. He was. And I was so pissed off because I envisioned Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid as a third or a low budget version of Dr. J and Moses Malone, but I was about to say Moses Irving of Dr. J and Moses Malone, but yeah, that never happened. Never happened. Remember, Jimmy was supposed to be a Cavalier too. Wait, when was that? Because I heard Paul George was there was talks that he was getting traded to the Cavs back in 2017. I mean, I followed Paul George, but I just knew that the Pacers wasn't going to do that. They're not going to trade their best player to a team that just swept them in the playoffs. That was not going to happen. That was not going to happen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember PG was, yeah. But I mean, I knew the Pacers wasn't going to do it. They're not going to trade their best player to a team that just swept them in the playoffs. That was not going to happen. That was not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, if y'all want to come in, I could drop the link so y'all can give y'all thoughts. And I mean, I wasn't planning on doing a long live tonight. I mean today. But if y'all want the link, I can drop the link. Yeah, let me drop this link right here. Copy. Yeah, so if you want to come in, Tune In Sports Humble, if y'all want to come in, I just dropped the link right there. Y'all can hit the link and just give me your thoughts, give me your predictions. Who you think gonna win this series? Um, what you think the Sixers got to do better to bounce back in Game 2, and what's the necessary adjustments that you think the Sixers need to make in order to win the series? Um, but if nobody's gonna come in, I'm gonna just shut it down, and I'm gonna definitely be back tomorrow. We're gonna preview Game 2. I missed the preview for Game 1 because something happened, something terrible happened. But tomorrow I'm gonna definitely recap. I mean, not recap, but preview Game 2. And like I said, I think Nick Nurse has to be better. Has to have this team much prepared, well prepared for Game 2 for rebounding and not giving up too many offensive rebounds because that's the Knicks. That's their strength. So, and I know the Sixers are not a very good rebounding team, but when you get in the playoff series and you have to do anything necessary to win, it's all or nothing. And the Sixers got to go all in and rebound at a at a much better rate and not give up too many offensive rebounds. And like I said, Embiid needs to rebound the basketball better. Tobias, I need to see Tobias. I need to see double digit rebounds. If you're not going to give us anything offensively, we need to see double digit rebounds. He says I'll join the live tomorrow, fam. Oh yeah, yeah, sure, yeah, yeah. I got you, bro. No problem. Kyrie told him not to come. Wait, he told who not? He told Jimmy. I mean, there was talks that Kyrie was getting traded for PG, but I just knew it was not gonna happen. I'm listening to you through. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you for being here, bro. I definitely appreciate you for being here. But I mean, yeah, Sixers versus the Knicks. I believe the Sixers can win the series in 6, and losing Game 1 is not the end of the world. I'm seeing that some Sixer fans, and I mean some Knicks fans, are saying it's going to be a sweep. And even my guy Nice, shout out to Nice. He's a Knicks fan. He says the Knicks in 4, so the Knicks are going to sweep the Sixers. But I don't see that happening. I don't see a sweep. If we get swept, that means Embiid didn't play in the rest of the games. But if he's on the floor, the Sixers absolutely have a chance of winning at least 2 games, 2 or 3 games. Now, if this series goes to 7, the Sixers might lose because I don't trust the Sixers in a Game 7. I've said that before. I'll say it again. I don't trust the Sixers in a Game 7. They haven't shown me that they're capable of winning a Game 7 on the road, at home. They haven't shown me. So, if this series does go 7, the Knicks might the Knicks might win the series. That's why I'm saying the Sixers in 6. They have to take care of business. Have to have to go back in the Garden, try to win Game 2, come back home, and try to defend home court as much as possible. Get those 3 games, go back on the road, lose that game, and then come back home and win. The Sixers don't have to give up any games at home if they want to win the series. Now, do I think the Sixers can win the series in 5? I don't think so. I don't see the Sixers winning 4 straight in a row. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't see that happening. I don't think that's gonna happen. Is it possible? Yeah, but do I think it's gonna happen? No. He says to join the live so DFJ don't close the stream. Yeah. He says I need something to listen to. You think Nick Nurse is gonna figure it out? Oh yeah, I believe Nick Nurse is going to make the necessary adjustments. I definitely. Now, if it was Doc Rivers, I wouldn't have so much faith in Doc. I don't have so much faith in Doc because Doc is not the coach that Nick Nurse is. Nick Nurse makes adjustments. So I think Nick Nurse is definitely going to make some adjustments. And like I said, he has to have this team well prepared for game 2. If they come out lackadaisical on the glass, they're definitely going to get out rebounded again because the Knicks are a very good rebounding team, especially offensive rebounds. They hustle, they get on the glass, and I mean some rebounds did go their way. Like I said, I mean Jalen Brunson's, I mean 5 offensive rebounds. That's a little bit, but most of them just bounce right to him. A lot of those rebounds bounce right to him, but like I said, they need to do a better job. Putting a body on put a body on them. Box your man out. As soon as the shot goes up, find your guy and box him out. Don't leave anybody open because if you do, they get all those offensive rebounds and they'll definitely make you pay. And last thing before I get up out of here, Paul Reed needs to play much better. Now he didn't get enough minutes, so that's fine. But I think he needs to play much better because his contract is on the line. If the Sixers lose in the first round, his contract becomes non-guaranteed, which means the Sixers can cut him if they want. They can waive him if they want. They can do anything if they want. So Paul Reed needs to play. He needs to play. Like his job depends on it because it does. His contract is on the line. So yeah. Humble says I was hot because really, who is this dude McBride? I mean McBride. I mean he's a 6'1" guard. I mean he's a backup. He's a backup point guard for them, and he's a very good shooter in my opinion. He's a very good shooter. We played against him the first time. Like I said, he was making threes, and when he gets comfortable, he's definitely gonna knock down those threes, and he's definitely gonna make you pay. So we always have him in check because he can get hot from the three, and he drained 5 threes. He drained 5 threes in this game. 5 for 7 from the three. That was huge for them. And he was getting to the basket, and he was making some free throws. So he's a spark. He's a spark off the bench for them. He's a spark off the bench for them. So the Sixers have to have him in check. And yeah, the Sixers need to do a better job, contesting those threes and not giving too many wide open threes. Now, Josh Hart, I can live with Josh Hart, even though he did make you pay for it at the end. But if Josh Hart wants to take all the threes, all right, go ahead. Be my guest. Take all those threes. But yeah, the Sixers need to do a better job. Um, so yeah, Embiid is ready to go. Tobias has to be better. Kelly Oubre, we need something more offensively. I appreciate the defensive effort. That was huge for us because we had Jalen Brunson in a straitjacket. So that was good. But offensively, we need something. We need something a little bit more. Kyle Lowry was good for us. 18 points there. The Sixers needed those. He did hit some big threes in that third quarter. The Sixers needed those. And he had that finesse, that 3-point foul, and he got to the free throw line, made those free throws. But if we had DeAnthony Melton, it would have been huge for us. If we had Melton, it would have been huge for us. But not having Melton, not having Robert Covington, is really gonna hurt us. But I mean, the Knicks also don't have Julius Randle, so yeah, they could use the injury excuse too. But I believe the Sixers can win game 2, and they will win game 2. I'm not guaranteeing it. It's just a prediction. I think the Sixers will win game 2. I think the Sixers could possibly win the next 3. But that's my thoughts. We'll get into it more tomorrow. We're gonna preview game 2 tomorrow. But with all of that being said, man, Nick Nurse, Have this team well prepared for tomorrow, and the Sixers can definitely win Game 2, and the Sixers will win Game 2 in my opinion. But that's all I have for Game 1. Hopefully, y'all enjoy this live. Again, shout out to everybody that tuned in, Tune In Sports, BJ from the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, my guy Humble Man 420. Shout out to my guy Play by Play with JJ, and shout out to Nice, who's the Knicks fan, who believes the Knicks are going to sweep the Sixers. But with all of that being said, I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, and peace. I'm out.